Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Airy. I recently saw Christopher Robin. Critics and audiences have been praising this film as a heartwarming embrace of the simpler aspects of life, a charming return to our shared childhood. But to me, this movie was secretly horrifying. Let me recap the story, and obviously, spoilers for Christopher Robin are ahead. The film begins in the 1920s on Christopher's last day playing with his friends in the 100-acre wood. His parents are sending him off to boarding school, beginning a montage of growing responsibilities like school, dating, war, marriage, fatherhood, and work. Meanwhile, in the 100-acre wood, Pooh goes about his day, patiently waiting for Christopher's return. Back in 1940s London, Christopher is a grown man who has forgotten how to play. He spurns his family trip to work over the weekend while Pooh awakes in a shrouded 100-acre wood to discover that all of his friends are gone. So Pooh crawls through a tree into Christopher's London backyard and they have adventures together. Christopher saves his animal friends, reconnects with his daughter, saves his company by giving everyone a vacation. The end. Except, other humans are able to see Winnie the Pooh and friends and hear them talk.
You can't just keep saying hello to people. People can't see you moving and talking.
But why?
Because you're different.
This means that the animals are not byproducts of Christopher's imagination. They are living creatures that he has thought into existence. He's clearly a child with superhuman powers to alter reality and create life. This makes me re-examine the entire movie. First of all, Christopher appears to have a loveless childhood. His father is strict, his surroundings cold. His parents are wealthy but inattentive. As soon as he's of age, they ship him off to boarding school. And growing up in this environment, he subconsciously creates beings to give him the affection his parents denied him. Knowing that he wouldn't be allowed to play with his friends in the presence of his domineering father, he invents a place, the 100-acre wood, where they can be together. The 100-acre wood is reached by traveling through a door in a tree in Sussex, but it can also be accessed temporarily by a tree in London. This tells me that the 100-acre wood is actually a pocket dimension that Christopher has created. It's a place that only he can access where he would be free to play with his creations. The animals look to Christopher as a kind of god. He defeats their enemies, the heffalumps, and they throw banquets in his honor. The film begins with the animals presenting an offering to their child deity, a cake. And it makes you wonder if Christopher Robin threw himself at this party because no one in the real world ever bothered.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me.
It's telling that there's no violence in 100-acre wood. It's all harmless play. Thankfully, Christopher was a gentle boy, or this would have turned out like the Twilight Zone episode, It's a Good Life, where a bratty, all-powerful child terrorizes adults by warping reality. If Christopher had been abused or bullied as a child, he might have created a pocket dimension filled with vast armies to take revenge on his enemies. The third act of the movie would have seen Christopher riding a fire-breathing Falcor and raising the Winslow Luggage Company to ashes. But Christopher Robin is a fundamentally gentle person. He's an overworked man living a life of quiet desperation, a traumatized war veteran who, by his wife's admission, hasn't laughed in years. He's torn between two worlds. At work, dozens of people are relying on him to keep their jobs. And at home, his wife and daughter place increasing demands on his time. He's unable to reconcile these two demands because at his core, Christopher Robin is a selfless person who only wants to serve others. So as a child, he created life that would always ask for his help. The manifestation of this desire is Winnie the Pooh, a harmless omnivore who only desires food and friendship, who relies on Christopher Robin for everything. After Robin leaves, Pooh wanders the woods for decades, waiting for his master's return. Yet, in the real world, Christopher's imagination is starting to wane. Instead of imagining ways to do nothing, his job is to plan more efficient ways to do everything. Because 100-acre wood is a manifestation of his psyche, the animals are starting to fade away. Only Pooh remains. When Christopher returns, the 100-acre wood is covered in fog. Remember, according to the rules of this universe, it's only a sunny day when Christopher Robin comes to play, implying that for decades on end, these creatures have lived in darkness, awaiting the return of their prepubescent messiah. Christopher nearly drowns in a heffalump trap. Heffalumps are creatures who hunt Pooh and friends, but they're actually manifestations of Christopher's real-life concerns, like work and death.
Just my luck. A heffalump.
Eeyore mistakes him for a heffalump because, in a sense, Christopher is dead inside. He's become a reminder of aging, an avatar of death. By being so worried about his work, he's actually destroying the residents of his pocket dimension. Pooh seeks Christopher Robin's help, not suspecting that his friends are actually gone because of the man's deteriorating mental state. But the real reason Pooh looks for Christopher is that he was summoned. Robin can only permit himself to take a vacation by subconsciously commanding Pooh to ask for his help. This means that even though Pooh is alive, he doesn't really have free will. He exists to serve his master, yet they're both unaware of his servitude. And rather than simply allowing himself to take a vacation, Robin's solution is for everyone, everywhere to take a vacation, because that's the only way he'll feel truly free, if people stop relying on him and he can go live for himself. The ending, where Christopher passes his pocket dimension onto his daughter, is extremely depressing. Consider Pooh. An early scene in the film is a recreation of the ending of The House on Pooh Corner, where Christopher Robin tells Pooh he can't do nothing anymore, but he asks Pooh to continue coming to the 100-acre wood and to never forget about him, even if he lives to be 100. Now, in the book and cartoon, this is adorable. It's a child basically promising himself that he'll always keep his carefree days alive in his heart. But in the movie, where Pooh is a real creature who interacts with other humans, the scene is terrifying. Christopher Robin created Pooh to love him unconditionally. Robin is allowed to grow and change, but Pooh will never age. Pooh is a creature of eternal love and devotion, simple desires and gentle means. He'll never understand that he's condemned to wait for the Robin family to appear. Like Maximus in the film Gladiator, Pooh dreams of eternally walking through tall fields with his loved ones. He has faith that the very best of something comes from nothing, because his life is eternal and filled with a whole lot of nothing.
In that enchanted place on top of the forest, a little bear will always be waiting.